next guests are part of Moncton's new improv group, Lemon Twist Improv. That's right, we're going to get our improv on here on the show. I'm your host, Mike Sanderson, by the way. So joining me is Felix and Samantha. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
I'm very excited because when it comes to improv in Moncton, it's been, I don't want to say that there's necessarily anything lacking on the French side, certainly not.
Nope.
But on the English side, there's been a bit of a gap. So very, very happy to see that there is a new improv group or troupe or whatever you want to call it that's starting up here in Moncton.
Yeah. We're very excited to finally get something started. And
yeah. It's been a little bit of a journey in the making. I think we've been kind of plugging away for about 2 years on little bits and pieces, but this year we're finally kind of hitting the ground running, so to speak, and we've had some successful shows and some successful drop-in workshops, so we hope to just keep growing from here.
Just to keep going. Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about, take us on the journey. What was it like from the start? What was the concept and where to go from there?
okay, so what I love telling this story.
Yeah.
Well, that's good because we want to hear it.
Yeah, so I started improv in Toronto and did a little bit in Montreal. Then when I moved back, I was like, you know, and I needed improv and I didn't know where to like go find anymore. I was kind of looking around. I knew there's some in the French side, but it's, you know, it's like they have the leagues and all of that stuff. So it's harder to just do like a drop-in class or start taking classes. So I was like, all right, maybe I just start my own thing, right? As I'm sitting there, well, like just on Facebook trying to like build up this kind of workshop kind of concept, my friend sends me a message, and that same day somebody had created this workshop for improv. And at first I'm like, a little pissed.
They stole my idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then I got really excited. I was like, oh my God, there's somebody else doing improv. And then I send a big message. And I'm like, okay, basically it's this message saying, I want to do improv too. We're now best friends. Deal with it. And send the message to Sam.
Yeah.
So which one was John C. Reilly and which one was, anyway?
Yeah. Ooh, who would I think I'd be John C. Reilly, but yeah. In the grand scheme of things.
Deep question.
Yeah. Oh, I have to think about that.
Deep cut.
Yeah, and so I kind of had thought I had gone to a comedy festival in Newfoundland, put on by a couple of friends of mine, Stanley Braxton Company, a little shout out for them. And you know, they said, you just kind of got to do it. That's the thing with improv, is that, you know, it's unprepared, so you kind of just have to go out there and find the people that make it good and make it and want to devote time and effort and energy into it. And so I thought, okay, I'll throw it out there and I'll see what happens. And yeah, within literally hours of posting this thing, which I was kind of like, oh, I don't think anyone's going to show up. I don't know anyone who's going to, you know, be excited about it and have this huge message. And I was just like a little bit terrified because I was like, oh, I've been found out. Like, uh-oh.
Well, had you two met before that, or
no?
Okay,
not
so
at all.
this was
yeah, very
so
like
there's some terror.
Yeah, some cosmic alignment I think happened as well, and so I went, oh, this is kind of scary, but I was like, honestly, like sure. Which is most of what improv is about. It's just kind of accepting those opportunities or things that don't even look like opportunities and making them into an opportunity. So that's what I did, and we've been best friends ever since. So.
Yeah.
It's a lovely story.
Yeah.
Is what it is. You guys, so you've kind of followed the mentality of New Brunswick's adopted son James Mullinger, and that was if it's not here, you do it yourself. You know, so that's kind of what happened there. So from that point, and it's been, I think you mentioned a couple of years now.
Yeah.
So how has it grown and evolved since then?
So that summer that we kind of started doing, like, so Sam had already launched like it's like summertime improv kind of thing. So, or improv in the park. We were doing it in Centennial Park. We had a couple people show up. It wasn't a very large group, but we started doing workshops, and then we were like, okay, we can do something more, and like we started talking to people, just kind of brainstorming ideas. We got a lot of interest, and it was kind of terrifying because we're like, oh my God, people like this. What are we gonna do with this? Oh my God.
Yeah.
There are people that we don't want to disappoint.
Yeah, exactly. Because like there's some very big players in the city that like either I knew from my my background's in business, right? And I kind of talked to them about it. I was like, oh, this applies. This could be used in business. This could be used in different contexts. And they're like, yes, let's do this now. How about you want to do this? And they're like throwing me into the lions. I'm like, oh God. And I was like a little overwhelmed, and like I took a step back, and me and Sam had talked about it, and we're like, we started brainstorming because we were like, if we're gonna do this, we want to do it right.
Yeah.
And so we went started talking about it a bit more, brainstormed, kind of building up. Okay, let's do this kind of program. This is what we want to do, and how we're gonna brand this. How we're gonna actually gonna approach it in different ways, because it's not just, okay, let's go do workshops, is we have to build a community of people first. And over the years, and it just kind of mostly happened like over the past year, I'd say.
Yeah.
We just like brainstormed, let's do a workshop at Hell's Basement. No, not a workshop, I mean a show.
Show, yeah.
And we just tried out this thing that I had seen in Toronto, kind of modified a little bit, so a mix of like, Whose Line Is It Anyways, mixed with like another kind of show that I had seen in Toronto, and kind of a bunch of little weird things that both me and Sam just kind of threw in there. Tested out the show. I think that was back in October.
October, yeah.
And it took a couple months to like kind of reprogram that, and then like we got a great interest. I think that first show we did, it was sold out. I think like a packed house, which is fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah.
It worked really well. There's a lot of kinks, but you know, that's how first shows kind of work.
But a great energy. If you get a sellout, you've got all the energy you need.
Yeah,
exactly. And then since then, we just kind of, you know what, let's do it. When we started now, we have, like, I'm just jumping into the next point, which is like, let's
do it.
Yeah, let's do it. We're doing a monthly show. So now first Thursday of every month, it's called Hellprov. So it's located in Hell's Basement. So we have a monthly show now. And we started doing drop-in workshops, which is the first Saturday of every month. And so anybody can come to those.
And in fact, everyone's encouraged to come to them.
Everyone. Not just anyone.
Yeah, not just anyone, everyone. We are actually focused, I should say, preface that, we are focusing on adult workshops at the moment, just due to some kind of constraints in teaching. It just makes sense for us at the moment. We will kind of be looking into doing younger age ranges in the future. But yeah, it's really just about bringing a sense of play and a sense of like exploration back into your everyday life. You know, life is unscripted, unfortunately. We don't know what's going to happen next, and so it's just kind of giving you fun tools to prepare for whatever that might be, whether they're awesome things or whether they're not so awesome things. It's definitely has kind of exploration and also kind of a coping mechanism as well. Like it can serve multiple functions for anyone really. And so, yeah, just bringing back that sense of play that we are told we're not allowed to do because we're big grown-up adults, and that's not fun.
Gotta do big adulty things.
Yeah.
Or big boy pants.
You have to be serious all the time.
That's right. That's I like the segue to that because it's the only thing I have written on my card, and that is the next thing. Hellprov is April the 4th, and the next drop-in improv class April the 6th.
6th, yeah.
Yes. So the drop-in class, is that also at Hell's Basement?
No, we have a workshop space now available to us. It is, I'm going to mess this up. We're on Weldon Street,
73.
Okay.
Yeah, 73 Weldon Street. So it's a new space. We have like a kind of an office that we get to work from now. We're kind of being like professional people now. Yeah. It's great.
working that adulting.
Yeah. Exactly. Adulting is really hard. And but there's a like an exercise studio because we're sharing a space with somebody that offers exercise classes. So but the space is great because we don't need anything. Improv is made up in your mind, so we don't need equipment or anything like that. We just need the space, and renting space in the city can get costly. So we're like, we'd love to have a home, and eventually, like we were saying, our classes and everything. So we'll have a place where everybody can come and have fun, and it'll create a home for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. We have about a minute and a half left.
Okay.
So, by the way, you can find them on Facebook. Lemon Twist Improv on Facebook is the place to go for that. Very quickly, and I know this is not a question you can really answer very quickly, but we're going to try. In terms of drop-in class, and I know you alluded to this a little bit, for someone who has never done improv before, is there things that, maybe not even improv related, that somebody could learn going to these drop-in classes?
Ooh, how to let go. We carry a lot of tension, a lot of worries, a lot of responsibilities with us, and those things are important. Keep them, but just having a second to kind of put them to the side and have a moment of fun. Get back to being a kid again. That's what you can really enjoy. It's a sense of joy. It's bringing a sense of joy, and whether you can achieve that in a lot of different ways. This just happens to be one that's more a group collaborative, made a new friend, you know?
Yeah. We have about a minute, so I'll jump into a personal diatribe for a second, because I'm the host of the show, and that's what I get to do. In terms of improv, personally, I know in terms of hosting this show, it's been huge for me just to think of the concepts of improv. Once you know the dance moves, yes and thinking on your feet, and just that kind of thing, whether it's funny or not doesn't matter when it comes to improv. It's just to come up with things on the top of your head is the most important thing. So be sure to check it out. April the 4th, April the 6th. Hell Prov is on April the 4th.
Correct.
Get your tickets now, Hell's Basement. And April the 6th, the drop-in classes as well. So Felix and Samantha, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We wish continued success. I hope it's going to be amazing.
Awesome.